Hey, what up, guys? It's me again. Welcome to the This Is My Moment podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Mitchell. And you guys know here at This Is My Moment, we love having a good time. We love seeing you smile. And we love meeting new people. And you know what? We in season 2, baby. Let's go get it.
There ain't no stopping it, this is my moment. Join the movement, we bringing people together, bringing positivity, making changes for the better, cause it's all about...
Today, I just found out I got a guy on the other end that's from my place, man. He from the H. You know where I rock with Houston, so that's already, I want to see what's shaking. Not only is he from Houston, we got something else in common, but he doesn't know. I'm going to bring it up. Introduce yourself to the family.
I'm Naresh Vissa, like you said, born and raised in Houston, Texas, H-Town, Screwston.
Yeah.
But I live in Tampa Bay, Florida now. I've got a wife and 2 young sons. I'm a stay-at-home dad to my 2 sons, but I'm also the founder and CEO of an online and digital marketing agency called Krish Media and Marketing. I've been running it for 11 years now, and I've written something like 4 or 5 best-selling books on online business, digital business, e-commerce technology. So that's a little bit a quick snapshot of who I am, what I do. I also host my own podcast called The Work From Home Show.
Dig that, man. So I was researching it and I saw that you had a media marketing company, and that's my background, man. I was when I was in the service, I was Air Force photographer for 20 years.
Oh, nice. Thank you for your service. And you must be a pretty darn good photographer then.
He was all right. But now, man, I work for a company where I'm the marketing communication specialist. So I wanted to see what you got as far as that goes. I might have to take some of this to work on Monday.
Well, I'll tell you, the first thing is not a cop-out answer. It's just there is a lot in what I call 21st century online and digital marketing.
Yeah.
So my book, 50 Shades of Marketing, and I'll send anybody who's listening, not just you, I'd be glad to send free copies of my book, 50 Shades of Marketing. Whip your business into shape and dominate your competition. That's the subtitle. Yeah. 50 Shades of Marketing, whip your business into shape and dominate your competition. It's 8 years old now, but it's still very relevant. The principles are timeless. I still reference it from time to time. I've got the book sitting somewhere downstairs in my little library. The book is all about online and digital marketing. So we can talk anything online and digital, but I will say, because I know you want to talk a little bit, what are the most important nuggets?
Yeah.
And we can start with the first 2 main chapters, which are the most important chapters in my opinion, because then we get into the nitty-gritty of actual software, tools, and how to run ads and all that stuff.
I want you to talk to me about what got you into marketing. I want to pick your brain, but I want to know what got you started 11 years ago, man. What got you into it?
Well, first off, I think I was born to be in marketing. So that's number one. I don't think it's for everybody.
Yeah, true.
I think I was born to be an entrepreneur and a marketer. Now, I'm not a big corporate entrepreneur. I'm just a little guy like most Americans. I'm just a little guy who runs a small bit, actually 2 different small businesses.
Right.
So don't think I'm some kind of Michael Bloomberg or Donald Trump or something. I'm just like a regular American.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it, because I always had an interest in marketing and meeting people, promoting things. People told me when I was a kid I would talk like a marketer. So vocabulary I use, the convincing my friends to do stuff, family members, siblings. So that's number one. But number two, there was, to answer your question in a more direct manner, I got an internship when I was, as soon as I could drive, it was paid. So I basically got a job
Yeah.
at a marketing company, and they were a sales and marketing company that helped sell tech software and technology at the end of the day. That's what so let's say a company comes out with a software and it's run by a bunch of software guys who are
Yeah.
like tech guys. They're not marketing people, they're not salespeople. So they go to companies like this and they're like, hey, can we outsource the sales and marketing to you guys? Because you guys are the marketers and the salespeople. We're just the
Right.
tech software people. So they go to a company like this, and this company had, maybe 10 accounts. It was a small company, 10 accounts, where they were just promoting softwares, technologies from financial systems for school lunches, like when
Okay.
kids are paying for their lunches, to something as complex as like Salesforce, a
Yeah.
customer relations management service. So I worked at this company. It was paid. I worked. They gave me real work to do, and I did what was called market research,
Hmm.
marketing research, and prospecting. That's pretty much it, because I was 16 years old. They're not going to send me out on the field or anything.
No.
So I did it, and I actually, the company viewed it as like grunt work,
Yeah.
but I was like, this is actually pretty cool. Like, I got the skill set down, and I learned how to find people, important people at companies, how to target them, how to reach out to them, email
Yeah.
them, call them. Very important marketing stuff.
Hmm.
So I literally did that for like 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
Or no, I did it for a year and a half.
Okay.
And that's when I was like, hey, this market, like, I'm pretty good at this. And they were really happy with me. They like wanted to promote me, and they were like, always an internship waiting for you if you want to come back.
Yeah.
After you graduate from college, there's a job waiting for you. So
Mm.
they really liked me a lot. And I said, man, thanks, but I want to think a little bigger. I don't want to go to college and come work at this company that I interned at.
Yeah.
Like you said, I was born and raised in Houston. I had goals and dreams of moving to New York City or Chicago or whatever big spot where stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And so I went off to college thinking that marketing would be one of my majors. I just really liked school. I ended up getting 3 majors.
Mm.
But what I realized about marketing was you don't need a degree. You don't need to study it or to take classes on it, because marketing is, you have to actually do it.
Yeah.
And I felt like I learned a good amount from that company. So I said, let's add another skill set to my resume. And so I picked up, one of my majors was broadcasting and digital journalism. So that was great. I
Mm.
picked up a lot of skill. We did a lot of photography, for example, a
Yeah.
lot of videography. So that was great. Storytelling, all that, through that major. But I also did accounting and finance. So it
Okay.
was, which were 2 skills that I did not have at all going into college. Never taken a financial class. I took an economics class, which was really not like finance. So, learning about finance and budgeting, personal finance, corporate finance, stocks, bonds, you name it, understanding the jargon, the lingo, and then the accounting. Accounting and finance really go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So I did end up getting that. I don't want to, it wasn't a dream job, but I ended up living that dream of working in New York City on Wall
Hmm.
Street, and,
Mm.
and interviewing at some amazing companies there in Connecticut and Chicago, in Austin and California, you name it, all around. And, just
Yeah.
kind of living that dream. And then marketing came back, because the job I ended up taking
Hmm.
after a master's degree in management,
Yeah.
uh, a company out of Maryland found me on LinkedIn. So talking about marketing, and by that point I knew digital media pretty well, and media quite well. So a company found me on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and said, hey, we really like your profile. Let's talk. Are you free today for a conversation? So you can call it an interview or conversation, whatever. We had that. They gave me a couple of projects immediately, like that week. They gave me one project. I aced it. They paid me for it. And they were like, you said you graduate in May. We're going to keep giving you projects.
Yeah.
And then when you graduate, just come here to what they didn't say come. They said, we will move you here. We'll send a car. We'll find your housing, whatever. Everything's taken care of. We'll move you here. That company, turns out, was still is the largest financial marketing company in the world. And so what I learned when I was 16, 17 years old, now I found myself at the age of 23, where I was taking what I learned. I had already applied it on my different jobs that I had or degrees that I had, and I was able to add the tech side to it and learn all about online, because the world had changed a lot in a matter of those 6 years or so, 7 years. So what I was doing as a 16-year-old was the infancy of online and digital marketing. And when I got to that company in 2012, they were 95% of their business was online and digital marketing and using all these tools and softwares and data and analytics that didn't exist 7 years before. So I joined this company and I saw the ins and outs. The marketing department works with the finance department, works with the research department and the analytics department and HR. And I was able to see all these different moving parts. And I was soaking everything up. Whereas everyone else at the company, they were just there to collect a paycheck. I was there because I was like, this is amazing. And I'm going to learn everything that I can. I would they would have company meetings that I didn't even belong. They for example, they'd say, hey, we got an IT meeting. So all the IT workers should come out. And I would ask for permission. I'd be like, hey, can I attend the meeting just to see what you guys are doing over there? So they'd be like, yeah, sure. Just come, show up. Don't be disruptive. I'd show up, listen in, see what's going on. Different types of media I would just attend just to learn, because that's a key in your 20s. You want to learn. Learn as much as you can, take as many classes as you can, try to do it all, because then your 30s, you can apply what you learn and do and fail and whatever it is. And then hopefully, I'm not there yet, but hopefully in your 40s, that's when you start seeing the real dividends and fruits of your labor.
Let me ask you this, man. So me being a marketing cat, me being a photographer, I'm into the photography, the videography and all that stuff, man. One thing that I learned, I couldn't get emotionally attached to my work, right? I say that because what I like, you may not like. Do you think you got to have tough skin to be in marketing and media, man? Or if it comes,
you gotta have tough skin if you want to make it anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in a creative side like photography, like writing, art, you need to have tough skin, because like cooking, you are gonna have people, a lot of critics say, I don't like this, I don't like that, you could have done this better, you could have done that better, I know somebody else who does this better. in anything, whether you're trying to work your way up the corporate ladder, you want to get into politics, no matter what it is, you have to develop tough skin, thick skin. You have to. And you bring up a point saying you get emotionally attached, which is natural. We're humans, right? So it's hard to tell. So, don't get emotionally attached to your work. Don't get emotionally attached what you do. Difficult thing, right? But with that being said, I've learned. I can give you some examples, because I'm a writer. I told you I've written 5 books. And my 2 most successful books and my 2 worst performing books were opposites. Opposites meaning the two worst performing books, I thought, were my two best books. I
Yeah.
put in years of my time writing those books, tweaking them. They're long, they're like 300 pages plus each. They're just amazing books, amazing, really good. Well, guess what? Free market doesn't think so.
Yeah.
The sales have not been good. But the two books that were like, I wrote in like a month.
Yeah.
I repurposed a bunch of my old content. They're short. I said, you know what? Let's just get it out there, publish it.
Yeah.
Those ended up selling, more than 10,000 copies.
Yeah.
The important thing is you should be emotionally attached when you're working.
Yeah.
But that does not mean you should be emotionally attached to your work. Because when you put your emotions into what you do, you are putting your heart and your soul into what you do. That's how you put your emotions into it, whether it's photography or you're a banker on Wall Street or you're a IT guy. It's going to show in your work.
Yeah.
It's going to show.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it's not good enough, hey, at least you put in your best. You put in, like I said, your emotions into it. It just wasn't good enough. You try again.
Let me ask you this, man. So you seem to have it pretty good before you started your own business. Why would you leave corporate America to start your own business, man, and take that risk and that gamble on yourself? Why would you do that?
So the company I worked at had a startup environment, a startup culture. Whereas the companies I worked at before, like I talked about working on Wall Street and I interviewed at a bunch of different places, there's straight up corporate. And I do think if I went into the corporate world, like if I ended up working at Wells Fargo Bank in Charlotte and doing all this mergers and acquisitions, integration and marketing strategy, I do think that I would still be in corporate America today. But because I turned those down and I went with this other company, which I liked a lot, and in Baltimore, I was exposed. It's all about what you're exposed to. And I was shown this worldview because I grew up thinking, because this is what I was told by my teachers and my parents and friends. I grew up thinking that you had to go to school to get a job and you work that job for the rest of your life. And what I learned at that company I was working at, the really wealthy people who worked at the company, who were like partners at the company, clients of the company who would come in, fly in on private jets, they didn't even have college degrees.
Yeah.
And it was almost frowned upon. If you had a degree from like a reputable place, you were almost looked down on. Like, oh, this is just a guy who knows how to read books and take tests. He's not like a real business person or like street smart or whatever. And so I started meeting all these people and I was fascinated, like, whoa, I'm being shown, I was told one thing for the first 23 years of my life.
Yeah.
And now I'm being shown this. And there's this like alternate universe of people who are just crushing it, whether it's an online or e-commerce or real estate or technology or whatever it might be, they're just crushing it. And so that was the eye opener where I was like, I'm very confident that if it ever reached a point where I'd have to leave this company, I can start my own thing from home.
Yeah.
So that ended up happening largely because I feel like I'm not meant to be in a corporate structure or a corporate environment. It's not my personality. And I was able to give myself a 20% raise within 1 month of leaving that company. And I got to make my own schedule, do work, dictate my own terms, work from home. Even though I lived walking distance from the office, I got to work from home, and the rest is history. So it really came down to, in my mid-20s, should I be taking this risk? And I said, absolutely. I talked to people and they said, look, you're lucky that you're taking this risk in your mid-20s because the worst that can happen, I did have a good amount of money saved up. And the worst that could happen is that I failed and I would just go back and work a full-time job. because the clients who I was working with, they would have hired me in a heartbeat. Just like today, I work with so many different clients, and they would hire me in-house in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So I knew, okay, I do have the backup, the fallback options, but I said, let's go ahead and do this. And I can't wait now that I think about my own boys who are super young, but I got started in my mid-20s. I want them to get started when they're teenagers.
Yeah.
Because when they're that young, 14, 15 years old, failure is an option. If today, failure is not an option for me, because I have a small business, a small real estate company, and I've got 2 boys who I've got to take care of, a family. Failure is not an option anymore. But back then, it was an option, and there's no better time to try things, try new things, get experience than in your mid-20s, or in the case of the new generation, in their teenage years.
Yeah, and you know what, man, you're spot on. The best time, I believe, and I teach this to my kids. My oldest is 26, and my youngest is 22. And I tell them this the thing, man. When you want to better yourself and be better and to move up, you have to take a risk and you have to take a chance. And when you have someone to support you, you can take that risk, because you're right. If you fail, it's okay. It is okay, but you try. Now you know what to do, not to do next time. And I tell my kids all the time, man, like, don't get caught up in the rat race of paying, working with no assets, because all you do is pay to work, right? And you're spot on, man. Start your kids young, get them in that mindset to where they're doing better than you at 23. They're gonna be like, Dad, why you didn't do this? And so good for you, man. Let me ask you this though. Starting your own business, right, from the house, you're able to dictate your schedule. What's one of the biggest misconceptions you had, man?
So I still face them. I still face the misconception. People think I'm unemployed. They think I got no job. Because I'm working in my pajamas. I mean, before this interview, I told you, hey, Gim, I'm running 2 minutes late because I got to change my shirt. I got to, it doesn't look like that right here, but that's a lot of people. And it's changed because of the pandemic, the work from home movement. It changed. But when I got started in 2013, man, people were like, what are you doing, man? Like, you're so talented. You're so smart. You got, you had high paying jobs and all these degrees, and you just want to sit at home. And I don't understand it, And I said, no, I'm not just sitting. Yeah, I am sitting at home, but I'm making things happen. I'm pushing buttons. I'm doing things. And so it's worked out really, really well. The important thing, look, there are 4 or 5 skills that, talking about kids, and your kids are a bit older than mine, but talking about the skills that are so important that you can carry with you to any profession, to any major. That's reading, writing, speaking, technology. Reading, writing, speaking, technology. If you can master those 4 areas, those 4 items, you're always going to have a job. And those are the fundamental basics for starting your own business. Because I mean, I read a lot. I read tens of thousands of words probably every week. So I read a lot. Of course, I've written books. I know how to write. I know how to communicate properly through email, speaking. I mean, I'm on here. You can judge how I speak. And I do these podcast interviews once every 2 weeks for the last 6 years or so. So, but technology is the game changer, because what I mean by technology is the ability to adapt to technology. So it's not just knowing how to use a computer and Microsoft Office and Excel and PowerPoint, but it's your cell phone, the apps on your cell phone. And as new stuff comes out, like ChatGPT right now, for example, it's okay, let me try this new technology and become good at it. If you can master those 4 things, it doesn't matter what you go into, whether it's medicine or finance or marketing or corporate or HR, whatever. You master those 4 things, you are going to thrive and succeed, and you should be able to start your own business.
Okay. And you're right, man. It's been a game changer. Like when I first started in the public relations, multimedia, aspect, right? We didn't even have our own computers. Like we had to share computers in the service, right? So now, man, like it's a game changer. When you first started till now, what's the hardest part about making that switch from like those days when the computers, when you were just really getting started in the SEOs and all that stuff, man, until now where you got AI, man, pretty much running the whole field. What's the biggest change that you've seen that you've had to make personally?
The AI is not fully integrated yet. There are services out there that do what we do for a much cheaper price. The thing
Right.
is, right now, people have not adapted to the AI stuff, to the automated stuff. They
Yeah.
still, you got a lot of old school. Most people are still old school and they want to hire a company or someone, surprisingly, to say, look, I just don't even want to think about it.
Yeah.
You do it. And so, do we utilize those tools? Absolutely. At our company, we utilize almost all those tools. That's how we're able to streamline processes.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we're able to get a lot of work done in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So the AI, it's going to take another 5 years minimum. And I will say our business did get hurt because of the pandemic. There are a lot of people who started doing what we were doing, which I knew
Mm-hmm.
was going to happen.
Yeah.
And you have to embrace competition.
Mm.
You shouldn't be fearful of competition. You should embrace it. And so
Yeah.
I knew in 2017, 2018, hey, there is going to be a comeuppance and I'm going to have to pivot. I'm going to have to evolve. That's life in anything in life, from relationships to your kid. I mean, your kids are constantly changing as they grow up. That's just life. And so that's why I said I have two small businesses instead of one, because I said I need to protect myself. And
Yeah.
so I learned another niche area of real
Mm-hmm.
estate marketing, real estate sales, real estate
Mm.
investing. So I learned that and I kind of combined both the businesses. They're two separate businesses, but there's a lot of cross pollination between the two because
Yeah.
I've got the marketing company and I've got the real estate company, and we do a lot of marketing in the real estate company. So what I'm
Amen.
saying is things are going to change. And when that happens, you don't just give up or you don't fight it. You don't say, shut down AI, you
Yeah.
know, you have to evolve. You have to,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, if I can learn this AI stuff, I can use it to only
Mm-hmm.
help myself, help my business, help my
Yeah.
client.
You spot on, man. You know, a lot of times I'm a little bit older than you, a lot bit older. And a lot of times you get the old guys, man, and we still pen and paper. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh,
Yeah, I'm not.
yeah,
Yeah, I said reading, writing, all that.
yeah.
I can barely write on a piece of paper. it's been, I mean, since I graduated high school, I've
Yeah.
barely had to write on paper. When I have to
Yeah.
write on paper now, it's like, whoa, I write just as bad as my 3-year-old.
I dig that. You know what's funny? I was talking to a person the other day, man, and I still keep like a notepad and pencil next to my bed, right? And they was like, dude, what? I was like, dude, I gotta write it down. Like a lot of cats, man, they use their phone to take their notes and their memos.
Use my app, yeah. I use my
Yeah,
notes
see, yeah.
app on my phone, and yeah.
Man, if I can't write it on a sheet of paper, man, like I'm that guy.
I
So
get it. And most people I talk to, you said you're
yeah,
way older than me, so I'm not gonna guess, but most people I talk to who say the same thing, they do
yeah,
the same. They say I'm a pen and paper, I'm a hardback book guy.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
But you know what? And if you don't evolve, you die out. You know what I mean? So you gotta evolve with the times, brother. So here's the deal. I love the knowledge, man. I love the knowledge. But at the end of the show, I like to have a little fun. So we're gonna play a game. We're gonna play a game. It's called Pick. Oh, I hope so. It's called Pick One. I'm gonna give you some options. You gotta choose, but you only get one option, one choice. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Out of all the books that you've written, you only keep one. Which one you keeping?
50 Shades of Marketing.
Well, that was quick. You already knew the answer. Okay. Out of all the companies you work with, we're not going to name drop, just all the companies that you work with. Pick the one company that you would go to without them even asking. If you had to quit working right now, be like, hey, I'm going there, no question. Where you going?
it's a company called Stansberry Research. They're now called MarketWise. So they're now like much bigger. So they changed the name, but yeah, that would be the company, the
That's
one in
it.
Baltimore. Yeah.
Okay. And I was looking at all the places you work with. I was like, man, this is gonna be a good one. All right, I like that. Shout out to B More. Yeah. Last one. I give you the phrase, "This is my moment." What's the first thing that comes to mind? This is my moment.
I'm gonna have to tell a short story about this
What? Get it?
because I call something the Jeremy Lin moment. For anyone who watches basketball or
Who Lynn is?
you know who Lin is.
Yeah.
So this is my moment. I'm gonna just fast forward because I know this is a game, but everyone, I believe this is not based on science. This is just a spiritual philosophy that I have.
Mhm.
We're all going to have that one moment in our life
Yeah.
where our stars change and it's like a rocket ship is about to happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be money, it doesn't have to be business or work, or it could be family, relationships, kids, it could be anything, but there's going to be that moment. I call it the Jeremy Lin moment. And the question is, are you going to be ready for that moment? Because it's coming. And so I hope that you the listener, understand, if you haven't had that moment yet, it's coming. If you think you had that moment a while ago and you don't think it's going to happen again, well, it probably is going to happen again at some point. Yeah. And so are you ready for that moment? Because you have to take advantage of it. And I say Jeremy Lin because Jeremy Lin was the first Asian American basketball player in the National Basketball Association. He was undrafted. No teams wanted him. And so he was going around from team to team in preseasons, training camps. And so he signed a 10-day contract with the New York Knicks. So this is the like number one franchise as far as media and hoopla goes. So he signs with the New York Knicks. It was just a 10-day contract, 10 days. Most players are signed for 2 years, 3 years. So this was, hey, we'll give you a shot for 10 days.
Yeah.
And what happened, he didn't expect to play. Most people on 10-day contracts, they just show up to practice if they can give the other players a somewhat of a beating, a challenge. Okay, you're pretty good. You can be a third string player.
Yeah.
So he signed to a 10-day contract. The team all of a sudden during that time period had a bunch of injuries. And on top of the injuries, the team was losing. And the coach was like, we're going to have to try something different.
Yeah.
So Jeremy Lin moment happens where this kid is put into the game. And he said, this is my chance. This is my Jeremy Lin moment. And the rest is history because he got put into the game. There were only like 2 days left in that contract. And he just went ballistic. As soon as he got it, it was only for like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
He went ballistic, just scoring everywhere, here, there, layups, threes, everything, making everything. So the coach was like, all right, let's move him up from 8 minutes to a bench player.
Give him
like,
some time.
Yeah. So next game, he plays something like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And he went ballistic again, making everything. And they won the game.
Yeah.
So then the coach was like, let's start him. And he played 40 minutes. He put up something like 40 something points and 12, 13. So that's where I say, if you're down, if you're out, if you're feeling hopeless, just keep your hands ready for that Jeremy Lin moment. Yeah. Because stay strong. It's coming.
Yeah. You know what's funny, right? I remember Jeremy Lin, and that was the beginning of Linsanity.
Exactly. So they called it Linsanity because it lasted something like 15, 20 games.
Yeah, but then you know what's funny? What else a lot of people don't realize, when he went to the Lakers, he actually looked off Kobe Bryant in a game and took a shot and won the game. So I know I'm a basketball cat, man. So you're right. That moment, man, have your hands ready and your feet aligned because you never know when it's going to be your shot. So, I know it, brother. You're talking to a basketball guy. But, hey, man, we're done.
Thanks for having me on. It's so great. I love conversations like this where we mix the business with the philosophical and spiritual side.
Yeah. I dig it. Don't move. I'm finna close the show out. Don't move. I'm gonna come back to you. Hey guys, here's the deal. Embrace competition. Don't fear it. Have your hands ready and your feet set, because you never know when it's your chance to take that last shot that could change the rest of your life. Be ready so you don't have to get ready. And at the end of the day, go get it!
We bringing people together, bringing positivity, making changes for the better. Cause it's all about growth, all about success. We wanna see you rise, wanna see you at your best. Hey, keep it rolling, we gotta keep